Hi, I'm Amanda McCoy Flanagan.
And I'm Ginny Oliva Smith. Welcome to Soul Rising.
On this podcast, you'll hear honest, off-the-cuff, vulnerable conversations about all things love, loss, and connection.
Deep and meaningful conversations sure to pull at your heartstrings and enlighten your soul.
Again, welcome. It's time to let your soul rise. Purpose. Have you found yours? Are you living a life filled with meaning? Or are you floundering about, getting through the humdrum of everyday life, feeling unsatisfied? Is something calling you toward a life of intention, of purpose? If so, are you listening? Are you responding? Everyone has a higher purpose on earth, a personalized soul mission. So if each of us has a unique purpose in this life, a reason for being, how can you tell if you are living in alignment with it? What does it feel like? How do you find it? And why is it important? Hey, everybody. Welcome back.
What's up, everybody?
This is episode 4.
Can't believe that. Pretty crazy that we're on episode 4 already.
Yeah.
We're so glad you guys have been here with us for the first 3. And if you haven't, go check them out. It'll be worth it for you. I promise. Go check it out. But it's pretty amazing that we're here at episode 4 and we wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. We know that there's like a million different podcasts you could listen to.
Yeah,
So.
there really are. And there's a lot of really good ones. So thank you guys so much for choosing to hang out with us for a little while and talk life and connection and love and loss and all the things. We're super glad to have you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, our topics have been like really deep.
Yes.
And also super important for getting through this thing we call life.
Yeah.
The navigation of this sucker is not easy. And Ginny and I have some tools that we want to share with you guys. So if you haven't listened to the first 3 and you find a little bit of time, even if you can catch a few minutes, 10, 15 minutes of each one, go back and check those out. We really think, like Ginny said, we really think you'll find them valuable. And if you do, please leave us a review.
A review. It helps us big time. And follow us. That's also another thing. If you go on there, whether it's Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube soon or any of the places where we're at, if you follow us, you'll get a little notification. Ding! These crazy chicks are on your freaking device again. Do you feel like listening? Just do it. You won't regret it. You'll be happy you did.
So today we're going to talk about purpose. The name of this episode is What's Your Purpose? So what we're going to do today, we're going to teach you a little bit how to tap into your soul, identify your mission here on earth. Like the opening question said, we all have a purpose. We all came here to inhabit this beautiful big blue and green spinning earth that we're on.
Right.
And everyone came back here. I believe in reincarnation. I personally, I've read it. I just feel it in my soul that I've been here before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like you get those moments like deja vu.
Yeah.
Like,
or running across people where you're like, oh, I know this well, I don't know how, but I know this person. Really, just a connection, an inner knowing of something that there's really no reason you should know it. And it feels like probably because I've been here before. I agree. And it's weird because we have certain religions that automatically believe that. And I grew up Catholic and kind of with some of this Christian background, which doesn't always go with that belief system. But
well, reincarnation used to be in the Bible. And
wait, what?
Yeah, reincarnation was a story in the Bible.
And a guy pulled it out?
Constantine.
Constantine?
Yeah.
What?
He was like some kind of emperor or some shit like that. And he went through the Bible and
he's all, this isn't going to scare people enough. We need to make sure they're really freaking scared. So make sure they know they better follow the rules.
Yeah, he took out some stories by Mary Magdalene. A lot of the female influence on the Bible was taken out.
You see? This is why people say things like this, that the Bible isn't. I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was.
By the way, we were recording. My husband bought this really cool Bible. Like, we're not very religious people, but it was old. It was like this old, big,
it's so cool
looking Bible.
Yeah.
We forgot to bring it in the meditation for today, but the past couple of episodes, we were putting our microphones on that and
this giant
recording on
Bible.
top of the Bible.
It's perfect.
Even though we're not like really religious. So it's the stuff that we want to talk about and let you guys know that like you could tap into one part of a religion. You don't have to take on the entire thing.
Or even everything we're saying. If there's parts that resonate that help to spark your soul or your spirit or help you connect a little further, take that. Some of it that just doesn't, fit, that's cool too. We're all here trying to figure out how to connect, again, kind of get back to the connecting to each other and connecting to ourselves. And Amanda and I have found that a great place to do that is through spirit. Well, we nurture our spirits in a lot of different ways, guys.
Invited Spirit in with us today, by the way. We have a candle lit for my bro Jeremy. We have a candle lit for Ginny's good friend Julian who passed away, and we'll get a little bit more into that later.
Yes.
Yeah, we like to invite Spirit in to come in and through us, to kind of speak through us. But like Ginny was saying, take what you need and leave the rest. That's a slogan in recovery.
Yeah.
You don't have to co-sign or really get on board with anything, but if there are some things that resonate with you, take a little of this, take a little from another podcast, take a little from that religion or that spiritual belief or whatever it is, and create, I call it in my book, I call it a spiritual tapestry, fabricated from the finest fibers.
Beautiful way to explain it.
Of various belief systems. That's what we want to encourage you guys to do here. So like I said, we don't have a lock on any of this. We're not like, this is what we believe. This is what you should believe. No freaking way.
No.
It's the opposite of spirituality. That's what the issue is with me and religion. This is what you have to believe in, or else you're going to hell. Like,
because you hear the stories, and this isn't to upset anybody who really follows the Bible, because I'm all for, like, if that helped you to tap into your moral compass, like, yes, by all means.
Yes, we believe in Jesus. We believe in the Holy Spirit, the Trinity. We believe in all that kind of stuff. But there's just some things that I can't really wrap my head around.
Well, and the thing is, again, this is not to go completely off topic, but really, like, talking about religion, you were talking about reincarnation and the fact. I remember the first time I heard a family member who's Muslim was talking about the Quran and just saying, well, the thing about Christians is your Bible has been translated 600 times. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, it hasn't. And then as we got into the history, he was saying, you realize that they didn't even start writing these stories down about Jesus until like 300 years after he was gone. I'm like, wait, what? But like you're saying, there was someone who removed books about reincarnation. I had zero clue. That reincarnation was ever in the Christian Bible.
Yeah,
so
it was.
Super good to know.
Yeah. Believe it. Go look it up. I'm sure you could find the internet is a beautiful place for things like this.
The interwebs. Go look up at the Google machine. They'll tell you. But you were talking about reincarnation.
So so the reason why I bring up reincarnation is because I've been told that I've had multiple lives. And during those lives, I have learned lessons. And I have gone through things that have prepared me for this life.
Absolutely.
I have all the tools in my tool belt. I've gone through and I've grown, and I came back to this earth already possessing certain qualities. Maybe they were asleep for a while, but I've reawakened them through my painful experience in this life.
Right.
So same is true for you guys. Not every single one. There are new souls here, but a lot of us are very experienced old souls, and we're put on this earth for a purpose. But what your purpose is different than mine.
Oh, yeah.
It's different from Ginny's. It's different from your neighbor. We each have a specific purpose that we came back to earth to figure out what that thing is.
To remember.
So they talk about amnesia too. They say like, we don't remember the afterlife. We don't remember all that stuff because I don't know, maybe it'd be too easy. I don't know.
You wouldn't learn.
You wouldn't learn.
It's like saying if you're going to start 9th grade algebra, but you came in knowing everything already, you're not really going to learn it. Yeah.
What's the point? Life is not supposed to be easy peasy. Yeah, we're supposed to be in joy and happiness for the majority of the time because that's how we are open. We have enough open-mindedness, open-heartedness when we're in those good spaces to then receive more. But it is also going through the pain and the lessons like we've talked about before. We can call our purpose also our mission. That's sort of interchangeable. Find the purpose starts by witnessing and stepping into your true self. Now, your true self to me is the same as your authenticity. Once you can identify that, once you can understand what that pull is, what that feels like, what that whole thing is, you can step into that. After that comes purpose. So I think it's helpful to identify and define what those two different things are. So we're going to be doing that today with you guys too. And we're going to help you learn how to take steps to bring your purpose into reality. Because what's the point of knowing the purpose if you're not moving towards it?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point to bring about that they are almost two separate things. I feel like your purpose itself is almost this entity of its own. Do not remember it when we come here. I think before we come here, I think there's this idea of, okay, I know for sure these are the things that I want to possibly learn or accomplish.
They call that a soul contract. You go through this whole like sort of discernment process I've heard in the afterlife where you sort of look back on your life. There's no judgment. It's all just like kind of It's just discerning, which
Right.
is different than judging. Say, okay, did I do the thing that I said I was going to do?
That I hoped to do, I wanted to do, sought after.
Exactly. And then you say, yeah, I did. And then some of them I didn't. And am I willing to now go back and
Work on these other things.
Yep. So I have this, what they call a soul contract, so that we come back to earth to fulfill.
100% that resenates with me for sure.
When it resonates with you, like, that's when you know it's real. Like, don't doubt it. Like, when you feel that thing inside, that it fits like a glove. And it's just like, oh, like your warmest sweater or whatever it is, right? Like, it's
comfortable.
just so right. Like, you can't deny it. That's when you know it's true. So stop doubting yourself, people. When you're feeling that thing of like, yeah, this is right. It is. It is. You're not crazy.
You are not crazy. We talk about what is our purpose in life, and we're searching for this like defined thing that it's like, okay, well, what is it? Am I supposed to be an accountant? I'm always thinking that it's a thing, that it's a title. I don't think that today, but I think before, when I used to ask myself, and many of you may feel the same, what's my purpose? Well, a lot of the times we're searching for what is it I'm supposed to be doing work-wise. We're so tied into this idea of, well, I got to make money to feed myself and my family. So what's my purpose? And I don't know. I feel now today, I feel it's a little bit different for me. I identify it a little bit differently than that.
I could see the purpose being like the end goal. You could say my purpose is to be an author, but like that's not truly my purpose. What's underneath that? What am I trying to do with my writing? Right? What am I trying to bring to the world? And for me, it's healing. We're not talking about building windmills or fighting for civil rights or anything of that great magnitude, which is great. If that's your thing, freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, run with that. If you feel encouraged and excited about ending world hunger or creating world peace, please, we need you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But if your purpose is a little, I don't want to use the word smaller, because none of it is less important.
No, none of it is less
It's just
important.
different. If it's just different, right? And our purpose could change throughout life. Like, my purpose for the last 10 years was being a mom.
Absolutely.
And loving my kids and raising good humans, right? But so what's underneath that? Like, my purpose is not to make sure dinner's on the table at 6 o'clock, to make sure the dog is walked, food's in the fridge. You know, like, that's the purpose on the outside, almost like the surface purpose, if you will. And then what's underneath that? It's being of service to my family and my children, so they can be healthy, so they can be happy.
Exactly.
And they can grow up to be good people and potentially do good in the world. So I guess for me, it does all come down to healing the earth in whatever way
that you can do that. Yeah. And I think that's huge that you can recognize that. And that's the other thing. A lot of us can get caught up in these ideas of, oh, I'm quote unquote just a stay-at-home mom, or I'm just a janitor, or I'm just a this, I'm just a somebody who works customer service. That's not the case at all. And to me, I envision every single one of us here as this incredibly important, critical puzzle piece. That's exactly how I see it. It's how I feel about it. I was telling my daughter, I've told her before, and I've thought about this last week when I knew that this show would be coming up, is there's so many times where we're looking outside of us, or where she's going through this thing now where, you know, this girl at school, like, she's so much better at tumbling than me, or she's so much better at writing than me. And I'm constantly telling her, yes, but you bring something super specific, baby. Like, you bring something that is unlike anyone else. And we all do this, right? And I explained it to her in a way that, think about if we're doing a 1,000-piece puzzle, there's not two puzzle pieces that are the same. You could have this beautiful mosaic, or this beautiful image of mountains with this beautiful lake in front of it. There are not two pieces in that 1,000 pieces that are the same. They're all different. And if the one that was a part of the mountain was constantly saying, golly, I really wish I was the piece down there that looked like the lake. I wish I was more like that. Like, why can't I be that instead of just being the piece that it is? When we can settle into that piece that we're supposed to be, we are a piece of something enormous. And when it's missing, it's noticeable. When you're looking at a puzzle, again, 1,000 pieces, you can see where the one piece is not there.
Yeah, and then you're out of harmony with the rest of the world. I don't know if everybody knows this, but harmony is not when everything's copacetic and the same. Harmony exists when somebody's singing higher
and lower,
and lower.
That's exactly what harmony is. And they may end together. They're exactly right. It's when you hear the pieces separate, you hear someone singing a certain part of a vocal harmony, and you're like, what is that? It doesn't even sound right. But then singing with this other, it becomes one tone. I genuinely feel like, again, that's part of why we're all walking around so rigid and upset and scared and sad and afraid and all the things that we're all going through right now is because we're often sitting around questioning our peace in all of this. You know what I mean? What am I supposed to be? And looking outside of me and going, oh, that piece over there, they're not doing this shit right.
Yeah.
they're supposed to look like this. They're supposed to look more like me, which is not the case. And I feel like, I don't know, to me, when we talk about the purpose, I've always thought of it as a tangible thing, again, more of a title, a description of the person I'm supposed to be. And I don't believe that anymore. I believe now it's more of a frequency that we hit. It's not always necessarily that, okay, well, yes, you needed to go to school to be a doctor and that was your purpose. I don't think that's it, even though that might be the thing you're supposed to do here. I think
it's the energy underneath it.
The energy underneath it. Yes.
Fill in the fridge. Go to the supermarket.
Yes.
It's what energy am I bringing to that?
Yes. And what am I allowing myself to fully embody? That's what it is. It's like, if it means that helping people heal by being a doctor, you are that open vessel of like letting all of God's energy, creation, everything that the universe brings, you're letting it flow through you without blocking it.
Yes.
That's your purpose. If that means that you're at the grocery store, you know, checking people out and you are open and you're that vessel and you're letting God, the universe flow through you, then that is your purpose. That's the thing that when we suddenly stop blocking and when you're not only being the open vessel for yourself, but that you're able to be that open vessel and encourage the people that are coming into your world.
That's it. I had a sponsor in recovery, my very first sponsor. She told me she was getting a job at Starbucks because she liked making people smile. Because
that's huge.
Right? People come in. She's a successful real estate agent right now. Like, she probably could have done something, quote unquote, much better than working at Starbucks. But she said to me, you know, people come in and they're cranky before they get their coffee.
Oh God, I got to go to work and they're waiting to get their coffee.
They're freaking cranky. They're pissed, whatever. She likes flashing the big smile when she hands them the cup of coffee and them being happy and smiling. So she gives these people an opportunity to feel good when they're feeling cranky.
Yeah.
That is the purpose.
It's purpose. And I mean, at its finest, because you're letting yourself be the puzzle piece, the missing puzzle piece of because everything else starts to fit. If I'm the puzzle piece here to help somebody smile today, well, boom. I like that feeling of accomplishment when you're doing a puzzle and you're like, yes, I found the base. It's like, oh my God, here it is. And then all of a sudden you can build off of that. So then that person's going to be a little more at peace in themselves and maybe find more of their purpose that day with whatever that is, even if it is that they're going to
somebody else.
Be an attorney that day or whatever it is. We're constantly in each other's presence and in each other's lives and in each other's worlds constantly, unless you're like off in a cave somewhere. We're interacting with each other and we're getting this opportunity every day, all the time to help someone else connect to that missing piece. And that's what I feel like, you know, the purpose is, that it's more of the feeling, that it's more of the frequency of it, that it's more of how do you feel? And
getting very honest with yourself, very truthful, and accepting. You used the word accepting before. Accepting what that purpose is for this particular time in your life. And typically for me, one thing builds off the next.
Always.
But before I could get to the purpose, I needed to find my true self. I needed to get to that place, that familiarity of who I am and knowing, going back to maybe my past lives, going back to who I was, going back to try and seek those lessons that I had already learned to create who I am today, to be able to go forward in the purpose. True self really opens the door. So like the true self inspires the purpose. So once I can get familiar with my true self, I know who I am, I know what my values are, I know what to do to feel comfortable in my own skin, then it kind of just happens. It's not even like something that I had to like sit down and hammer out, like, what is my purpose? It was an inspiration. It was every single time I was driven into my purpose for that particular time of my life, it came through divine inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only way that I could explain it, like getting sober. It was totally divinely inspired.
Yeah.
Something, it almost feels like something, and it's probably spirit, pushes me. Like literally, like I'm compelled to do certain things, and I might say, no, I'm not doing that. Like, no. Like,
not today.
I hear you, but I'm not doing it. But guess what? I do it because I'm not because I'm special, because I'm pushed to, because I cannot say no to this thing.
You finally accept, like we were saying, or you settle into. You stop fighting. Like you stop fighting.
I might fight it for a while and never works out well.
No, it doesn't ever work out well. On top of the fact, let's be real, like we are fed a lot of programming just in general from out the gate, from the time you start being raised, right? We are fed a lot of programming of what our purpose is supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to do at age 12, and you're supposed to get through high school, and you're supposed to go to college after that, and you're supposed to be married at this age. There's a lot of that. No one's at fault for it. I think it was just this kind of repetition and a sense of structure, because
it gives us a sense of safety, right?
It gives us a sense of safety.
Because what's the end goal? To get money and to have shelter. Right. You're safe.
Yeah.
It's survival. And how are we going to survive with that money? So yes, we do need money. We need it to survive.
But it can make it very tricky on figuring out what your purpose
once it becomes your whole vision or your whole end goal, it can really crowd out the purpose.
Yes. And I think that's something I had to sit with myself and ask too at times. What if money wasn't an issue? What if money wasn't the thing?
What would you do?
Yeah. What would be the thing that you would be doing if it wasn't that you knew you needed to make enough money to support your family and have the house and have the car and have the 2 cars and have the things that make us feel so normal that we think we feel so normal. What would that thing be if that wasn't an issue?
If money was not an issue, and also if what other people thought of you wasn't an issue. If you've listened to any of our past episodes, we typically, for now anyway, to sort of give us a framework and to get started, I write a blog on my website, and then we try to flesh that out in this podcast a week later. And recently what I wrote in the blog is, who would you be? How would you live if nobody had a damn thing to say about it?
Yeah.
Anywhere, on or off social media, at work, at the holiday dinner table. If you knew that whatever your decisions in life, whatever's driving you, whatever's compelling you to reach the purpose, if nobody had anything to say about it, what would you do? Think about that. Really, take a second, maybe pause this for a second, but make sure to come back. Pause this.
Don't forget to come back, guys. Don't forget to go back.
And think about that. What is that thing inside you that excites you? Now, I'm going to save this question for a little bit later, because that's going to be the challenge, to go into that space. But if money wasn't a driving force, if other people's opinions of you were not a driving force, who would you be?
And where would you be happiest? Like Amanda said, of course, we live in a world we have structure, and it's a great thing that we do.
You need it. We're not saying to like throw a caution to the wind and quit the job. And,
hey guys, let's go get a tent. It's fine. Hang out.
You need to be... you need to be realistic. You can't just be like, oh man, I'm so divinely inspired to go.
Right. No, I quit my career of 18 years.
Well, you put thought into it.
I did. I did put thought into it.
So knowing that you just
divine inspiration. Yeah, just a compressing. I don't know that I've ever in my life felt something compressing me so much.
It made you so uncomfortable that you had no choice.
That I had no choice.
That's what I was talking about before. It's like this thing that pushes us that we can't say no to.
No. And also just all of a sudden what I was spending so much of my time doing, and I'm so grateful. Let me tell you something. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the career I had. I'm so incredibly grateful for the relationships that I built, all those things. But it wasn't sitting with me anymore. Like the idea that it was like, why am I doing all this? And what am I doing? Like, fighting over percentages of commission and money. And yes, great, the money's important. I need the money. But at the end of it, it's like, why am I doing this? What am I doing? What am I gaining from this? Aside from, yes, absolutely providing for my family is critical and crucial. But do I really feel like I'm fulfilling this short life that we're here for? Because I might be here for, 45 years. I might be here for 90. I might trip on the pavement outside of Amanda's place. Either way, it's super short. And was I feeling like I was meeting a purpose? Was I feeling like I was even seeking the purpose? And the answer was absolutely no. It's also scary as shit to go, what? Oh, you're going to, wait, what? You've been in corporate America for how long doing this thing? Like, what do you mean? You're going to go, what are you going to do? But all tied into me knowing that was not my purpose. I got to really connect with amazing people, and I got to also see some of my purpose in those connections and work with amazing people. But it was not my purpose, and it wasn't sitting well with me anymore. And I knew something had to shift because I felt like I was choking. And then all of a sudden, when I let myself kind of fall into this thing of using my hands and being creative and taking old pieces of furniture and turning them into something new,
which is amazing. Ginny is Furniture, what did we furniture and upcycler. That's our,
Upcycler, furniture. Yeah. Taking old things that are like destined for the dump, landfill, that are built well though and still have life.
better than any of the garbage we're going to buy today.
Much better than any of the garbage we're going to buy today, and bringing it new life. Something awakened in me doing that.
It's an awakening. It's awakening.
An
That's
awakening.
the perfect word. It's an awakening.
Yes. And every time I did it and knowing, wow, I'm saving something that's got these incredible bones and strength.
The history,
the
energy.
Yeah.
How many people
have had it.
What happened in those rooms?
Oh my God.
I believe objects can pick up energy.
100%. Yeah. But somebody looked at this thing and said, oh, wow, this thing's done. Like, it's not, I don't even care. I hate this piece of furniture. My dog's pissed on it 6 times. I can't stand it. It's bringing me bad memories. Get it out of my house. And to be able to do something new with it. But, also, there was something that happened inside of me being able to do that. And then also there was a shift, a massive
that
shift.
brought you closer to your true self.
Yes.
That's why this true self and purpose thing is so
100%. Because I was at ease all of a sudden. I was at ease, and then I felt like the time was well spent.
Not worrying about everything else, all the stress and all the cares in the world, and all that kind of stuff kind of melt away. That's what happens to me when I write. I get in this zone.
Yes.
That like nothing else going on around me matters because it is so purposeful to me what I am doing.
It's probably because you're closest to yourself.
I'm closest to God.
And God.
I'm closest to myself. I'm closest to this lesson that I agreed. I'm inching further and further closer to fulfilling the soul contract.
That's
that
exactly
I talked about
right.
before. Oh my God, that feels so good. I love it. I hope you people out there can really pick up what we're putting down right now because this is like soul nourishing. Those are the words that have been coming to me about this whole thing. So you being down in your basement, doing your furniture, doing your deal. And I might just say Ginny is so freaking amazing. She is going to roll over some of her profit into creating furniture for victims of domestic violence.
Yeah. I was also part that fed into though, right? It was like, that's kind of the whole thing I'm building my brand and company on is every time someone buys something from me or has me refinish something for them, they're buying a piece for somebody who's in need. And right now it's starting with the Gateway Domestic Violence Shelter here in Colorado. I'm also working towards helping kids in foster care and working with veterans as well.
Amazing.
But
you got to give back. And when the purpose is really on point, when you really like have that purpose right in the palm of your hand, you want to give back in those ways.
Exactly.
There's no fear around it. Like, I got to keep all this money. I got to keep all this stuff. I got to get. I got to grab. The greed, all that stuff.
The fear goes away. There's a sense of a fear that goes away.
Peace inside.
Yeah, it is. It 100% is a peace. And I think, again, like I was saying, those two things being separate, knowing our true selves, but also knowing our purpose. I think the purpose is the instrument almost. Like I think that the purpose, again, is almost its own entity that's like waiting for you to come kind of collect it. It is the instrument for the true authentic self of you coming out. And that's what the purpose is. It's not necessarily that we're searching for the title or the thing of what it is. Well, what am I supposed to be doing? It's the feeling that you're looking for.
Yes.
You're looking for the feeling. So I have a really good friend out there who's also in recovery. I bet he's listening, who struggled many, many, many years and became this incredible. He was an incredible wrestler when we went to school. He's freaking brilliant. This guy is just natural. Incredible.
You know a lot of smart people, Ginny.
I know a lot of smart freaking people.
Ron, what's up, Ron?
What's up, Ron? I know we had a reference to that from my good friend. His name's Art. He struggled with addiction, like to the point of being on the streets. And he became somebody who came back to his community in Albuquerque and became a badass wrestling coach and coaches in, part of Albuquerque that there's probably a lot of kids that are exposed to things that would not be great. And watching that guy and his purpose and watching the kids he impacts and watching him coach some of these female wrestlers for the first time who are like going to state, it's
inspiring the self-esteem and the self-worth
time.
And raising these kids up to
time
believe in themselves and to love themselves and to feel strong. And that's service
and purpose.
That's purpose.
Yeah. And you know it. You know when you run across someone who's in their purpose because you feel it coming off of them. And it could be that you're running a business. It could be that you're the person who's managing that team of people and you're bringing out that success. You feel it from somebody because they are an open channel at that point. They have that God thing flowing through them. You know what I mean? And just by being around them, you're like, hey, I'm feeling that too. It inspires everybody who's around them. So I guess that's my point is, it's not necessarily a thing when we talk about our purpose. It's a feeling. Like search for that feeling of where you feel safe, where you're doing something that lights a fire within you and you're not having to prove anything to anyone because everyone's got something out there. I don't care what it is. You are not fighting yourself. You're not fighting the world. You're in flow.
Ease.
You're at ease. Yeah. And whatever that action is that you're doing when that feeling comes, that's the thing.
And
That's
even
the
if you don't
purpose.
have any tangible evidence that this purpose is going anywhere or even in the right direction, just by embodying that energy, embodying that space that we're talking about, you are telling the universe that you are ready to respond. You are programming the universe, but you have to step into that. That's why this is like a blending of spirit and human together, the human will and the spirit, because the spirit will I just wanted to say the word possess, and I know that might freak people out, but that's where I go. Sometimes that's just what I need. Like, just come in and do it for me. Like, show me what you want me to see, hear, feel, know, and do, or not do, on my journey toward becoming my highest self.
Yeah, and I'm gonna believe you. I'm gonna trust what comes in.
I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna hear it. And the more I'm willing to do that, the more the messages come, the more I'm driven towards the people that can help me.
Yes.
The ideas that I need to
And this is
run with.
Yes. Like this is, I'm watching it. I'm in real time having this shit happen right now.
I'm watching this happen to Ginny.
It's
and it is
crazy.
So cool. It's happening to me, actually.
It's happening. Amanda's all, oh, that's right. I wrote a book. This chick's a badass author, you guys. Don't let her fool you. It's happening right in front of my eyes, too, watching her.
That whole thing was so completely divinely inspired.
Yes.
Like, I'm actually super freaking scared. I'm never going to be able to do it again. It was so, like, just given to me.
Yes.
Like, it
and you
was
were ready.
and it just came right out. And it happened during COVID because all was still, all was quiet. I didn't have the outside noise or opinions of other people specific to a ton of opinions during COVID, but like specific to me and how I was living. I truly met myself. I met my true self out in nature. I'd go for these hikes by myself. I had started another 12-step program called ACA, which is huge. It's adult children of alcoholics and dysfunctional families.
Man, that's probably a massive thing. There's probably a lot of you out there that can really, and I didn't mean to interrupt, Amanda, but it made me just, it sparked that thing for me because there's a lot of us.
If you found Ginny and I, there's no mistake. I'm sorry, you're probably one of us. I'm sorry.
If you found Ginny and I, you're probably all effed up, guys. Welcome to the crew of crazy. Okay.
The best kind of crazy.
It is the best kind because there's the most hope and potential there. Yeah. And those of us that have like wandered around in the slums of darkness.
The slums of darkness.
Yeah, slums of dark. But you got out of the slums of darkness and you were walking around nature.
So I'm in nature and I was going through this program and I was taking my workbook with me and I was getting deep and I was finding they used the word true self a lot in that program.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like a lot of the stuff we're talking about today in like the personal development world comes from 12-step program literature that was written in the 70s and the 80s and the big book written in the 30s.
Yeah.
We all think that this stuff is like
brand new.
None of this shit is new. This is all repurposed, which needs to be said by different people in different ways because of the different times that we're living. But nothing is really truly original. The ancient answers have always been there. Now we're just so desperate enough that we need to use them and squash the ego and all that. But that's probably a whole other show. So yeah, I was just getting more and more inspired. I was in marriage counseling. I was like doing all this stuff. I was alone a lot. I was meditating for like at least an hour every day because I had the time. My kids were e-learners. So I didn't have to like pack the lunches and get them to school. Like we really didn't have that kind of schedule. So I was more free to just kind of tap into my soul and my spirit. And that's exactly what happened. One day I was running on the treadmill. It was early 2021. And I'm running on the treadmill. So I've been doing this kind of work for a while. And I just got hit with this knowing. I literally heard, you're going to write a book. And I was like,
wow,
what? And I'm running. I get really inspired while I'm running. I feel really close to spirit at that time. It's the endorphins, it's the music, it's the drumming of the music, it's the whole thing. So it comes together in this perfect like relationship for me to inspire. And I have my best thoughts while I'm running. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to write a book. And I had been thinking about this. What is my purpose? I'd been thinking about it. And I was thinking about my education. I was thinking about my experience, my life experience, my upbringing. I have a master's in social work. I have a bachelor's in English and journalism.
Pretty smart too, Amanda. I do know some smart people.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
I have a high school diploma. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
The best one. It's very crisp. It's clean.
I have a master's, doctorate, PhD in life, hard knocks,
the
learning the hard way.
Yes.
Sorry, keep going, please. You're
So
so
I had
smart.
been putting it out there. I'd been asking God, okay, what do you want me to do, right? So like my kids are getting a little bit older, and I was always a worker. I always worked since I was like 14 years old. I left my job in Manhattan, and then I went back to social work school, and then I got pregnant. We decided I would stay home with my kids, and yada yada. So I always kind of had this thing on the back burner. I had the master's
Right.
degree. I had this whole thing kind of waiting in the wings. Like, okay, God, what do you want me to do with all this? What am I naturally good at? What are my
Right.
natural capabilities? I'm a communicator. I'm a people person. I like words, right?
Right.
Like, and it just came together. Like, you have an English degree. Like, maybe you can write. So I was just struck with this knowing and this moment of divine intervention. I remember I ran upstairs. I went into Jim's. He was in the bedroom. And I ran in and I'm like, I'm going to write a book. And he kind of looked at me like I was nuts because I was like riding high on the endorphins.
Oh, yeah.
Too. I was in the zone, you know,
Yes.
feeling so good. And he was like, okay. And then I was like,
Sounds good, Amanda.
and I kind of put on the back burner for like a month or so because I allowed that to be like, wait a minute, am I really going to write a book? Am I really just riding high from running? Am I
Right.
what's going on? But it wasn't going away. So that's another way that you can identify your purpose is when it just keeps coming
Keeps
and coming
tapping at you.
and coming. It's a
Yeah.
nudge, and then the nudge becomes more persistent and stronger. And you know.
And you might even have circumstances starting to happen that you feel uncomfortable. Like things feel, at least to me, things felt, and I kept asking too, show me what I need to see. I was literally asking, show me what I need to see.
Yes.
God, universe, show me what I need to see. And the more I asked, the more I got. And at first, that looked like unraveling of the environment. It looked like things were kind of falling apart in a way. There was
Yes.
this doubt of structure. If that makes any kind of sense.
100%. I mean, that's what went on with my marriage.
Yeah,
The structure was it was cracking. The foundation was cracking.
exactly.
But it had to.
It had
to in order to be rebuilt into something better.
Yeah. And the momentum needed behind something like that to be like, let me go ahead and birth a book. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I might be sounding a little disjointed here, but the book is based around what happened in my marriage and
Yeah.
how going through that process brought me to my true self.
Yes.
Not through another person, but through finding myself.
That's right. Yeah.
My own wholeness, filling my own voids, no longer looking to other people to do that. I had to get there before I could then venture out on this
Yeah.
massive purpose that I'm
And a lot of times
living
that's what I mean. So if you guys are out there and you're listening to this and you might be at a part in your life where you're just questioning, like, what in the hell is going on? I don't know up from down right now. I don't know what's happening. Maybe you've just left a really long marriage. Maybe you've just found out you're ill, you know, maybe you've just lost a loved one. Maybe the job doesn't feel like it's working anymore. Either way, you might feel so disoriented. Take some hope in the fact that that might be your purpose calling to you.
Yes.
That sometimes it doesn't always just come in the way of like, hey, here I am. Like, you're meant to be doing this. There's a lot of times that the only way we're going to see it is through these big, massive things that cause or seem or appear to be upheaval. But like Amanda said, sometimes we have to have everything fall apart in order to be able to make sense of what we're going to build.
And that pretty much is what happened for me getting sober too.
Yeah.
That was another moment of divine intervention.
Yeah.
Laying in my bed after drinking for like 28 hours and I just got caught in like a bunch of lies. You know, I didn't get a DWI. I didn't lose children. I didn't have
Which
my
is
children
amazing.
yet. I didn't spend a week in jail. Like I didn't have that consequence. It was very much an emotional bottom. But I remember laying in my bed and I had these lyrics going through my mind from a Pearl Jam song that I love. It's called Unemployable. And I pretty much was unemployable. I was getting called in on Monday morning to ask, why are you missing so much work? Like,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the line was, here to die, I'm scared alive, I seen the light. And that just kept going through my head.
Oh my gosh, that just gave me chills.
Yes. I just felt this like thing come into me and I knew it was over. I just knew it was over. I don't know if I would have stayed stopped with that recovery. Probably not, what I know about recovery. But that was another moment that something just came into me. It was a knowing. It was this divine inspiration that I could not bring about with my own best efforts.
No way. Well, and the thing is, our human ego, which is there, and it's designed to keep us alive, but at times it's a little bit of a trickster too, and will fill you with a bunch of bullshit, tell you a lot of lies. There are times where the new amazing thing that's trying to evolve can't be there until we've succumbed, like till we've broken.
Till
Like
we
you're saying, till we
surrender,
surrender.
surrender and say, you know what, my way is not working.
Yes,
See,
right.
I'm trying to like pound my head against the wall. All right, I want this job. I want to be a nurse, whatever. Just pull up any random thing, or a teacher, whatever it is. And I just keep hitting dead ends, and I just keep hitting walls, and I keep then employing my own self-will and putting more and more of my own human effort into it, when maybe God, spirit, whatever you want to believe in, the universe is speaking to you and saying, no, no, no.
Yes.
Your purpose is over here. You're trying to take the road on the left. You're supposed to be on the road on the right.
Right.
And until you surrender and say, all right, what do you want to do with me? Usually because it's big. Usually because it's a big thing and we're scared.
Oh, God, yeah. We're terrified.
We have to take a leap of faith. We have to take huge risks.
Yes.
Right?
We have to abandon some of the ideas that we have known to be of security, what we've known to be of ourselves. Because as much as we might think we know who we are, I think most people are pretty aware that that's a lifelong journey. But most of us are searching for that authentic self. You know, we're searching for ourselves, whether we know it or not, whether our egos allow us to realize that or not. And egos will fight. Our egos will keep going, no, I'm going to keep trying to pour water on the cement and expect flowers to grow. You leave me the F alone. Like, if I want to pour water on the concrete, and this time I'm going to try it again, and maybe flowers will grow, instead of like, hey, no, we're going to shift you this way. Go pour. See that soil over there? Let's go pour some water there, and something will bloom, you know?
And when we keep trying to pour the water on the concrete, expecting flowers to grow, we are just chaotic. There's this chaotic energy that's going on inside, this frenetic, frenzied energy that's just, it's stress. That's where you get the stress from.
It's anger,
Yeah.
Mad at the concrete. Like, why are you still concrete? Like, that's what we get with
why
the world.
haven't you changed to suit my needs?
Yes.
Right? Maybe I need to shift into something where it's going to work. And I'm a big believer that this chaos inside, this pushback, and I want this, and I want that, and I want to do this, and when it's not really what I'm supposed to be doing, I believe that collective chaos is creating the chaos in the world.
Oh, yeah.
We are responsible. Whatever I'm putting out there is what I'm going to get back. And when so many of us right now, because there's so much fear and there's so much pain, we're like doubling down on fear right now.
Oh, my God. And chaos.
And then it's chaotic. And then what are we going to get back, right? So like, this podcast, we're hoping that we can inspire you to be the people to lead the charge, to be willing to take that leap of faith, to be willing to step into something that's uncomfortable and maybe a little bit scary, and look the fear in the eye, do it anyway, and be the change makers.
Yeah.
You people that have been drawn to us, that have found this episode, it's not by mistake. You are the change makers, the chain breakers.
Yeah, you have the ability to be that stone you toss in the pond, you know, that creates all the ripples. And it's true. What do they say? As within, so without, or it's just like we are our little universe inside, and that is also reflecting outward. Like what's happening outside is what's happening inside.
Exactly.
And we're all a little frenzied because everything is sped up too. I mean, everything is sped up. We've forgotten how to slow down. We've forgotten how to stop and listen, or even know what the thing is that makes us feel good, because there's no empty moments.
It feels like we're trying to avoid bad feelings, and we keep running. But when we're trying to avoid the bad feeling, we're also avoiding the good feeling, because we're avoiding all of it. I'm not allowing myself to feel whatever might not be so pleasant. I can't also tap into the joy and the happiness and the purpose and all that. You got to have all of it. You have to be willing that no matter where this purpose takes you, you have to be willing to meet it at every pass and say, all right, maybe, I didn't succeed in that thing I was trying to do, or that didn't feel good to me, you know, and allow myself to feel that. So
and you
that
feel
I'm
like you're failing.
Inspired to move somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to be able to step into failure, because you're going to. I mean, like, I've gotten a couple of reviews back on this book that were like, wait a minute, were they reading the same thing? Because like, that is not all that I meant.
You guys are not reading what I wrote.
Like, you're just not getting, but like, whatever. I've gotten turned down for reviews, and I have to just continue going towards the people that need this work that I'm putting out there, right? Like, whatever your purpose is, it's the puzzle piece thing. A lot of people are not going to be able to understand what I'm talking about.
No.
They're probably going to read the first prologue or the first chapter, and it's going to be too intense, and they're going to put it down, and they're going to be like, yeah, I'm not going there. I'm not looking at that.
Right.
And that's okay.
That's
is totally okay. Those people are meant to do something else. They're meant to be somewhere else in their life right now.
Yeah.
And if they're supposed to, they'll get around to that at some point. But my purpose is not everybody's purpose. Like
No.
we started talking about that puzzle piece and accepting that.
And to let yourself be the piece that you are, that even if it is just your community or your family or the people that are immediately right around you, to help them feel complete by you being complete. Again, that's a ripple effect.
Yes, that it's the energy. That's
that's gonna go on. There may be somebody who picks up your book and says, "What the fuck? I don't know what she's saying," because in the whole big grand scheme of things, the big puzzle, they're somewhere way off far in the right hand side. They're not supposed to connect directly to you.
They're doing their own thing on the right hand side of the puzzle.
Exactly, and if
that
they're
is great.
Yes, because if they're doing what they're meant to be doing, then the environment around them and the people around them will be led to be doing what it is that they're supposed to be doing. And we're all in a collective, every single piece.
And ultimately, all of that energy is healing the world.
Yeah.
You may not even know, but whatever you're doing, if it's with intention, if it's with love, right? Jesus said it right, you know, God is
That guy
love,
was cool.
God is in us, God, JC, our homeboy. And if you are going forward in your purpose with the intention to love, to be compassionate, to be kind, to be of service to the world, to do something for, even if it's for your toddler.
That's right.
That's, so important. So super important.
It's just as
That
impactful.
Yes, stepping into that energy of the love and the kindness and the healing, that's bringing healing to the whole world.
Right. But again, right, we look to people, these spiritual leaders, people like Jesus, people like Buddha, there's so many, but they all were really singing the same song.
The same thing. It's the same thing, people. You could go to a different church or a different temple, or you could read this book. It's all one energy. It's the energy of love.
Energy of love. Simple as that.
Complicating the shit out of this. It is so simple, people.
Yeah.
If it doesn't feel like love and kindness and goodness to you, leave it.
Yeah.
Just drop it.
We need you to be your whole puzzle piece.
We need you to go your own way. We need you to go your own way.
That's right. We need you to go your own way. And to, settle into knowing that you doing that is so important, even if it is that you're just a mom. And it's not. I want to say just a mom because it's such a critical, incredibly important.
We are creating humans,
the
next generation of humans that are going to be doing the harder work. They're going to be doing much more difficult work because of the earth we're leaving them.
If we can, at least for today, find the purpose of today, even if it's for a few minutes, even if it's for 10 seconds, the purpose today, because really that's all we have. It really is, you guys. It's all we have. Future is not really real. The past, it's already behind us. We have right now. And if you can find 10 seconds to let yourself be in that space of feeling like, you can exhale and you're not fighting yourself.
Connect with your body. Connect with yourself. Even if it's to go outside and sit in the sun for 10 minutes. Yeah. With the intention of rejuvenation, renewal, whatever it is, connecting with something greater than yourself. If you could step into that energy, you're living purposefully.
That's right. Remembering the life of somebody who's impacted you.
Speaking of, so we have our candles lit. Let's talk about Julian. I feel like I know Julian.
I know, right? It seems
feel like I know him. Some people who pass, I just have this weird feeling.
Like you feel like you knew them. Yeah, he was a great friend of mine who passed away just last week, actually, on the 13th. Like my musical mentor. I was living in Los Angeles, living in Hollywood, California, way back when, and I was not a trained vocalist or musician at the time. I was around a lot of people who were and who were freaking incredible. I was so lucky.
Go check out LA Fault Line.
LA Fault Line.
The song, The Sun. What is it called? The Sun.
The Sunshine song?
The Sunshine
and you know what's
song.
crazy? All the songs, I got to write a lot of songs with this band, but LA Fault Line in general, you guys,
amazing.
These guys were incredible.
You should have made it. You guys totally should have made it.
It's such a weird deal. Prior to me, there was several generations of vocalists and musicians all from Lincoln Heights and East LA and different parts of Los Angeles who were just amazing and incredible.
The synergy,
the synergy
you guys
was
had together.
It's like nothing I've ever experienced before. And Julian is somebody who took me to that place too, of that purpose thing, right? This is somebody who impacted so many people with his music. He wasn't necessarily a trained musician, but somebody who had this tap into just spirits, like at all levels. He loved Carlos Santana and had that sound of like the early days of like Tierra and War and those guys that came out of Los Angeles, and just had this soul that was beautiful. He was somebody, well, at least for me, right, to be able to reflect on his impact on me. I wasn't a seasoned musician. I was not like a lot of the trained and really good vocalists and musicians that I was lucky to be around. It did not matter to him when I came to his band at that time and they were looking for a singer.
Because he felt you.
Yeah,
Like
he
people
really
do.
was like, you know what? You sing from a place, you really sing with your spirit. You really do. And we'd love to have you in this band. And I remember being like, oh my gosh, pretty intimidated because they were incredible, all older than me. These are all older musicians, been around a long time. But he welcomed me with open arms. And not only that, but in his purpose, this guy always found his way back to his guitar. He didn't live the easiest life and always found his way back to that. And people always found this love and energy through that. And for me, he was somebody who was very much like, hey, listen, you've got something to say. It doesn't matter that you don't know music theory. It doesn't matter that you don't have all this vocal training. You are a writer. You have things to say. He's like, let's do this. Let's do it together. He picked up his acoustic guitar and it was one of the rounds of songs he had done with an acoustic guitar. I think I was one of the first people that he did that with.
Cool.
We proceeded to write all these songs that ended up being just something amazing. But what it did for me was it opened me up. It gave me that insecure, I was 21 or whatever. He brought me to myself. He allowed me to, be there and to say, hey, you know what? You've got something to say and you have a voice, so let's use it.
He believed in you.
He believed in me. And
never forget those people.
Oh my gosh, you never forget those people. So I know for me, I'm thinking about his purpose in his life, and he spent the last few years living on a beach with his guitar, not necessarily by choice that he ended up where he was, but I don't know that he knew this time was coming. Part of me also believes that maybe he did, but his purpose, this guy, I'm positive, could have been famous 100 times over and won, I don't know how many Grammys, and never quite got to there for different reasons. But his purpose impacted me and allowed me to get to this point of writing music. I had never written music before, like ever. And I know that I'm not the only one. He did this for so many people. And now I'm going to cry.
Wow. Let it out.
That's the cry on a podcast. Maybe we are.
Yes, I think we are.
Yeah. So I'm grateful.
Yeah. There's very special people out there that's what they do for other humans. They light them up.
Yeah. And we get the chance to do that. I think when
everybody can do that.
Yeah. When we get that gift, right? When someone passes, that's the incredible thing. It is the one time where our egos are left at the door, where we all of a sudden are like, you get to feel all those things.
My experience when people have passed is I feel like a little part of their spirit goes into me.
Oh, yeah.
I seek it. I try to commune with them. I try to understand, where did you go? Where are you now? Right? I try to tap into that. And by doing that, almost by osmosis or something, like it's a little bit comes into me. So I had 5 family members pass away within 3 years after I moved to Colorado.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Like close, like aunts and cousins. And my brother was the last. And it just a really difficult time. But every time somebody died, I felt a renewed purpose.
Absolutely.
Like I was inspired.
Yeah.
I was sad, of course.
It's almost like the interaction, the alchemy you had together. Anytime we interact with each other, we have the opportunity to have someone in our lives. Your interaction with that person, even if it's brief, is creating something new. Every time we all get to interact, it creates this new energy. And that doesn't go away. That's something I now know. It doesn't go away. It never goes away. And even if the person isn't here,
it's still there.
It's still there. You get to carry that thing. You get to honor it, value it.
Whether they're here or they're not, because energy never goes away.
Energy can't be destroyed. It just gets changed into something else. Science tells us so. It never goes away.
Science, can you please, you science people out there, please prove that when somebody passes that their energy can measure.
Right? You would think, and isn't it weird that we know we have all this science and time behind us? We know that energy can't be broken down, but somehow for us, like,
we believe when a person dies, that's it, they're gone. It's so not true.
Right?
If anything, I feel them more strongly when they're gone.
It's amazing because Julian's daughter and son as well had said that they just could feel him so strongly here in these last few days.
And they say that spirit shows up right after, because that's when you're grieving the hardest and they want to be there to console you. And you can spend time with those people now, even though they're on the other side.
That's right.
Into their energy, right? Like
100%. And when we go through that grieving and that loss, that there is this beautiful gift of our egos just being abandoned for a minute. And I think that you're right, that we do get this sense of purpose. That every person we've come up to this point in our life, or anyone we've lost, or even the people that are still with us, that's the thing. Like, I would love to get to the point of being able to consciously, like, how do I get to the point of consciously being able to feel about everyone I'm around right now before all you mofos die? That's the fucking trick, okay, guys? That's what I'm trying to get to. Right? It's like all of a sudden we feel all the impact of their life once they're not here.
Yes.
I would love to crack the code.
I think it's because we can't really wrap our head around people's mortality, like, because then it reminds us of our own mortality and the survival instinct, but that's a whole other conversation. So Julian, I know for sure he's working in your life, Ginny. Like, he's got your back, dude. Like, without a doubt, I feel that with every fiber of my being.
Ugh,
And
that means a lot.
And sometimes I think people who pass can do more good from the other side. I mean, he did great stuff on Earth. I'm not questioning that at all. But there are certain people, I believe, maybe were in prisons of their own making while they were here. And now from the other side, they can help us live out our purpose. That is one of the grieving tactics that I use. That's the way that I cope with grief sometimes, is tapping in and saying, all right, please use me. What do you want me to do? Use me on Earth to do what you know is the highest good, because I don't know what the highest good is for myself or anybody else in the world around me, but they do on the other side.
100%. Like, they do. With clear vision, right? Yeah. I feel like almost like he's not contained anymore by some of the hardships or lessons or the things that he had to be here to learn. He's not bound by them anymore.
The freedom. Like, we're always so sad when people die, which of course it is so painful. But if we could look upon them as being happy for them, like, my gosh, the abundance of love and joy and peace that those souls feel on the other side. Like, in Louisiana, I think New Orleans, they have parties when people die.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the music, Day of the Dead.
Tons of music. Yeah.
Ginny celebrates the Day of the Dead. And those cultures know, that there's something beautiful on that other side. And they're happy for these souls to be there, to be liberated in this joy. Yeah. But that is a topic I am passionate about, and we'll get into that on the show.
Oh, we definitely need to, because everybody out there has gone through the pain of losing someone. And a lot of you have gone through losing people in an untimely manner too, and that's always hard too. It's hard no matter what. It's hard if they were here for 95 years and lived a great life.
Yes.
It's hard too, and
it's always hard. Loss is always super hard. So I'm going to, because we've been giving you guys these challenges for the first few episodes, I'm going to give you your challenge for the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
Think about this. So try to tap into something first greater than you, right? Try to first connect with spirit. And then ask, what is it that you want me to do here on Earth? Well, how can I be the hands and feet? What do you want me to do here? And when something comes in, even if it's outrageous, even if it's something that you're like, yeah, no, I can never do that. Hold on to that. Just for a minute. Step into that. Imagine yourself doing that thing. Just, throw caution to the wind. Just throw out all the doubts and put yourself in that position. See yourself doing that thing. What does that feel like? Does that excite you? Does that get you going? Does that light your fire? Does your soul and your spirit feel nourished? Does it just feel good? And that, if it does, that is your purpose. That's it. But the challenge is not to run away from that first thought and say,
don't think of the
never do
consequence. Yeah, don't think of, I can't do that because of this. Don't worry about the impact of like, I'm going to change my life today to do this. Like, just let yourself feel.
This one's going to be mad. This one's going to be upset. This one's going to be da-da-da. Because believe me, I've made some big changes in my life that certain people in my life were not happy about.
Yeah.
But I made them anyway. And those relationships are fine today. I'm happy to report. But anyway, without worrying about that and without putting all the expectation on, well, what's that going to look like? How much money would that make me? Or where would I have to move?
Just how does it feel?
Just how does it feel to you in your spirit?
Even if for 10 seconds.
Just allow yourself to go there. Give yourself the permission to live out that dream for 10 seconds. And if it feels really good, that's the purpose. But if you can't step away from the fear and step away from that stuff, then that's also your spirit telling you that's not it.
Right.
It's just like a tricky thing. Like, we're telling you like not to trust the fear, but then we're telling you to. But it's almost like if it's this nagging knowing that like, yeah, this isn't going to work out. That is your intuition. We're all psychic. That is part of your psychic ability telling you like, yeah, no, that's not the path you're supposed to go down. But maybe it's a version of that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the purpose you don't need to know every single step of how you're going to get to that thing that you're trying to do. You just got to have that big picture. So put yourself just in that big picture, forget about all the steps to get there.
Right.
And how does that feel? And allow yourself to hold on to that.
Even if it's briefly, because the thing is, it sounds ridiculous that you would think 10 seconds, what's that going to do? You'll be stunned because 10 seconds of letting yourself feel that way now will turn into 20 tomorrow. Yeah. So even just 10 seconds, it's doable.
Totally. And it will build and it'll build. And, we're so affected by outside pressure, right?
Man.
So like, it might feel like in the beginning, like you're going against the grain. It might feel like this is wrong, right? But then peel those layers, get really super honest, keep asking questions. Hey, show me the truth of this, right? Keep talking.
Because it will come. You will be shown.
And say, help me to understand it. Like, show me what you want me to do, or what I'm not supposed to do, and trust the inner voice. If it feels like you're going against the grain, think to yourself, is it going against my grain? Or is it going against society's grain?
That's right.
Or my parents' grain? Or
the
my friends' grain?
Programming that I've had.
Mm-hmm. If I step out of this box that I've been conditioned to live in, that's going to feel weird. So you need to discern, and again, you ask your higher power to help you do this. Discern, am I running away from this thing because I'm afraid of what people are going to think or what they're going to say? Or am I running away from this because it's truly not who I'm supposed to be?
Right.
Get super honest. And this takes honing, man. This takes skill. This takes work. But if you start today, you're going to get there eventually.
Right.
What's the alternative?
Yeah,
Staying
you may
stuck?
figure out, we're staying stuck. Yeah, you may figure out you're already in it. You may figure out you're already in your purpose, which is incredible. But if you're not, you can also have that sense of like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, this doesn't have to stay in this place, and I don't have to continue to feel like I'm wandering or like aimless, trying to figure out what it is I'm supposed to be doing. If you give yourself just every day, again, just that brief moment of watering the soil instead of the pavement, the concrete, it's going to turn into more tomorrow.
And like I said before, we don't like to think of our death, but for some reason, I feel very close to death. Like I'm not really afraid of it. So I picture myself on my deathbed someday.
Yeah.
I do not want regret.
No,
I do not want to look back and say, you know what? I knew I was supposed to do that thing, but I was too freaking scared to.
Yep.
I will not allow myself to do that. And I don't know when I crossed that threshold. I have no idea when that, probably during COVID, probably during my nature time, probably during all of that work that I did where I began to love myself enough that it was unacceptable to live with this knowing that I'm supposed to be doing something. There's something out there for me to be doing and I'm just not doing it. It became more uncomfortable to not do it than to do it.
Because I think that's how we leave here in peace, right? I think those are the things that when it becomes difficult or when people are afraid of passing, when we've left things undone, right? Or we've just out of fear or whatever else have not followed through or found that thing. I think you're right. And I also think that's what makes it hard when people pass away too. As much as it's painful, it's part of our grieving too. And we haven't let people know how we feel about them before they go, or we haven't done those things before they leave us. It rings true for me too. It was so huge, Amanda. Like I can't even tell you right now, like cuts right into my core to hear you say that. And it's so much of what's leading my choices, especially in the last few months, is being aware that this time is
very short.
We don't have to be afraid of it.
Yeah,
but it's short.
You exactly. You don't have to be scared of it. But I'm sure you all know somebody, right? Here today, gone tomorrow. Like, do not waste today. Like, just don't. I'm not like this big fear monger. Like, oh, time's running out. But like, it might. The truth is, it might be
any one of us. So could be at any time. The one thing we do know for sure, 40 years, 90 years, however many, we're all here for this period of time, and we will end this time here. Yes. Each of us. We know that.
So I want to get to heaven, and I want to get a high five from G.O.D., and I want him to say, good job, Amanda. You friggin' did it.
You did it. Yeah. Good
and
work.
I want you all out there to do it too. So, all right, come back and join us in 2 weeks.
Yes.
I haven't even spoke to Ginny about what our next show might
I don't know.
be. I think my next vlog is called Let's Be Honest, and it was about getting really honest with yourself emotionally.
Oh, yeah.
Like getting super duper honest with yourself about how you live and who you are, or you're living with integrity, or your actions lined up with your words.
Yes. That'll be a good one.
There's a lot more, but it's possible. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm sold on that.
We're going with the flow, you guys.
Anyway, all right. If you have ideas, stuff you want us to talk about,
Oh,
please
man.
email us,
Yes.
soulrisingpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, because
Please
this
email
is a
us.
group thing, you guys. This is all of us doing this together, trying to heal ourselves, heal each other. So this is your podcast too. I mean, hit us up, please, by all means, and you will start seeing more of us interacting on all those social media platforms.
Yep. Again, drop a review, 5 stars, please. If you got nothing nice to say, keep it to yourself. Just kidding. Just kidding. we've grown a pretty
We'll talk
thick
shit
skin,
right back to you, okay? No, just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but we really are so glad you
Give
guys
us your
are
honest
here.
feedback, because again,
We
it
need
is
it.
only by hearing the honest truth that change occurs. So
That's
I need to
exactly
I have
right.
to look at myself and take into account what other people are
Yes.
giving back to me. So, all right, peeps,
appreciate
we'll
it.
come back and see us in a couple of weeks.
Have
Love
a
you.
good one, guys. Love
Take it easy.
ya.
If this podcast resonates with you and you want to dive deeper, check out my blog, Get Real, all in on love, loss, and connection at AmandaMcCoyFlanagan.com. That's McCoy with a K. You can also follow me on Instagram at Amanda McCoy Flanagan.
See you next time. Until then, let that soul rise.